All right, Internet, hello. Welcome back to Stasis.
Oh man, immediate name drop on the first mouse over text.
We're going to try and bust this dude out of a stasis pod. So, I don't know if you noticed at the end of the last recording, but we picked up the stasis pod chip.
That seems like a straightforward so far.
Wasn't that chip there before you put the chip in?
No, there was a missing slot.
Huh. Yeah, it looks like someone reached in and pulled specifically that chip out.
So you notice there's 6 things here on this. So waking somebody up from stasis, as Taya mentioned, is a very complicated process.
Okay.
So you notice here we get these chemical compounds. These numbers. So if we look at the stasis pod, there's 6 different chemicals here. So we have to change the dosages on.
Oh, to match that
and
one
also
piece. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And so these are hidden all around the place. And this is kind of a weird puzzle because some of these kind of make sense in universe, but like a lot of these just feel like clues left for the player specifically. You'll see that as we get into the deeper ones.
Okay. These are chemicals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been unable to figure out what all the chemicals actually are.
So if we have any complex organic chemists in our chat room,
yes, please comment on what all of these are.
this is organic, right? It's all
We just,
CH, N, and O.
We can type in the number of each letter and take a stab at it.
Yeah, that's fair. So some of these are kept in stasis pods, but then also this one's kind of misleading because there's 2 chemicals listed.
2 chemicals? How are we supposed to figure that out?
Mainly just like I did in previous puzzles, just take a photo of it, and then just keep cycling through stuff until you find the symbol that matches.
What is this horse shit? Alright, here's where the thigh drugs go.
Yeah, I really thought that was going to be a body one, because it was above, like, the belt.
Nah, I gotta inject the thighs with the right chemicals.
Yep.
We gotta base them.
So now that we're through that, the other 2 are kind of hidden. But they're kind of hidden in plain sight, like you wouldn't understand.
Legs.
So you notice the chemical compound is just like taped to this PDA.
Oh,
Great.
number 4. Ha.
Great.
That's clever.
Did we already do that one?
We haven't done that one yet.
Oh boy.
It was a different clue.
No, I mean, have we already done that PDA?
We did that PDA, yes.
Okay.
We have read all the PDAs in medical.
Sick. They're random names to sort of get lost in my head sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I don't remember most of these stories.
How aware is he? Probably as aware as I was, so not.
Yes.
Not at all.
Oh good, the blood zone. Still looking good.
Yep, there's still plenty of blood.
Ah, color-coded chemical zone. All good.
Oh man.
Oh,
The
nice.
Chemical Zone had my favorite music. So we need X1 of Compound 5.
Wait, chemical zone beat out Casino Night Zone for you?
Yeah, no, the Chemical Zone music is rad.
But the Casino Night Zone music was so sleazy.
As sleazy as, 16 bits or 32 bits could get you?
Yeah, basically. Okay, the spine is blue. That's probably good.
Yeah, everything's green.
I don't know. He's hurting a little bit in that bicep area.
Okay, so green is probably bile. Red has got to be blood.
We're not doing humor theory.
Blue is black bile.
Yeah, you have to be more specific than bile.
Says you have to learn the fundamentals before you can practice the expertise.
Also, he's definitely got some red dots on his calves.
That argument
He's
falls a
some
little.
icy hot.
That argument falls a little flat when you're talking to a psychologist.
He needs some icy hot to turn those red dots into blue dots.
Yeah, this does look a little bit like an icy hot commercial, doesn't it?
Also, I don't know what's going on with that skeleton there.
Also,
Yeah.
his shins are in a little bit, huh?
Because you notice his skull's like really tiny for some reason.
Also, that... Oh, God! His
Wait, it
skull barely
is.
comes up to his eyeballs.
Oh, no, don't let him out.
Alright, so you're going to see me running around here trying to find the sixth clue. And I'm going to give you a spoiler. There is no sixth clue.
Just
Yeah, 'cause
trial and error.
You already looked at 1, 2, and then a double, and then 2 more.
Yeah, so this is so I looked this up to see if I failed, like to see if I fucked this up. And so I ended up finding a discussion thread on this on the Steam forums, and the developer said they intentionally left out the sixth clue.
Oh my god, the developers trolled,
So you have to brute force the sixth chemical.
What? Did
Won't
they just
that
think it
kill
was
him?
too... Did they think it was just too easy? What caused the developer to make a choice like that?
Oh, I see.
So I'm just gonna be running around here for a bit, and we will see what that will do.
Did they have a reason for that to happen? Was it because the puzzle was so easy and they wanted the player to see what happens if you fuck it up?
The sixth clue is just off screen behind a wall.
Anyway, so I grabbed all this blood off the wall.
That is not just blood.
I grabbed all this tissue off the wall.
So
let me-
all this viscera cleanup detail.
So you remember there's that biomatter slot on the surgery thing?
Yes.
He's gonna take the lump of this stuff?
Well, no, I'm gonna smash it up with a pistol first.
Oh,
What?
okay.
That's what the pistol's for? Fuck
For pistol
that.
whipping meat?
Fuck that. I hope that they at least used a weird and awkward hint when you try to put in the full pieces of tissue. If only I had a blunt object to bash this up a little.
Oh, okay. God, wow.
You know, I never thought about it, but yeah, I never actually tried just shoving the stuff in there. I think I did in my first playthrough, and John just says it doesn't work like that.
No, I
What?
need to go put a tray on top of it and smash it down.
With a gun.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't the first adventure game I've played where a gun is used entirely for the reason you wouldn't expect it to be.
That one's kind of bad, though.
I mean, if you ever played the original Darkseed,
No, I specifically didn't.
if you ever played the original Darkseed, you get a gun in that game, and then you also pick up a stick. And there's a point in there where you encounter a giant monster on a bridge. If you try to use the gun, the monster eats you, but if you throw the stick at the monster, it goes over the edge of the cliff and the monster jumps at it and dies.
Huh. I think some of the old LucasArts things had some similar puzzles. You know, before
And then also you have to take the gun to an evil police station where the guy says, "Ah, you've been holding my gun," and then arrests you.
But that advances the plot, right?
Yes.
Oh man, that was a stage fall.
Oh.
Steady yourself. You'll be okay.
Ooh boy.
Whoa.
I heard screaming.
Woke him up. The survivor. He didn't make it.
Well, this is the right...
I think I killed
This is
him.
the good way, right?
I did something.
Yes, this is... it doesn't actually work unless you enter that compound.
Oh.
You just made his death. Easier. Simpler.
What?
Oh God.
I just killed a man because the developers didn't give me enough hints.
Before you become another dead body.
Have some mercy.
Mercy. You have no idea how much mercy I have. I've been in hell. Made choices that got people killed. This isn't just like you anymore. I'm sorry. I need you, John.
I need you to find your wife. Anyway, so when we let that guy out, he let out all this cryo fluid.
And he's grimacing.
Fortunately, we have this cryo fluid storage container.
Okay, at least it says so, right?
Yeah.
Thick viscous syrup. Synthetic amniotic fluid.
Delicious.
Man, we killed that guy for that soup of, probably just, like, fish food.
Well, in narrative, we tried to make him live.
Anyway, now we're ready for self-surgery. Oh, by the way, this sequence is fully interactive.
Alright, I'm
mean?
ready for Dead Space 2. So, I forget. Was the lightning explained?
We're going to have to be
Yeah,
alone for
it's
this.
we're in low orbit around Neptune. We're going
That's
through the
right.
clouds.
Okay. Just
It's an event horizon thing.
Right, that's
be
right.
careful doesn't cover it.
I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
I'll be fine. I have experience with
I
self-surgery.
was gonna cut out in the middle of surgery.
Shit, John. Why would you even say that?
I'm about to cut into my spinal cord. I'm allowed one joke.
I'll be monitoring.
Deep breath, old man. You can do this.
So I'm gonna say, on my first playthrough, I died a couple of times doing this sequence.
Okay.
That's not... Oh, the title splash.
Yeah, it's loading.
Yeah, I think that's our first non-hidden loading screen, isn't it? Besides when going
And then
from
here's
area
our
to area.
other. No, this is like the third one.
Yeah,
Kind of
that's
gives
right.
you a hint of what you're supposed to do here, but not really.
You point the lasers at all of the thumbprints.
Guide the knife next to the spinal column, but don't cut it. No,
Cut
no,
into
don't
the-
go left to right.
Cut into the dura matter.
The automated surgical med pod. Your physician will explain the procedure.
That is not
That
the
is
same
not the
face.
face.
Opportunity to ask any questions.
I want a happier face. A much happier face.
Such as a headache or nausea. Let your nurse know
That's a
if you are
sad face, Matt.
So that you may be given medication and or other treatment. Carefree implant begins.
Okay.
The subject is not correctly prepared.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot of similarity between this and the Dead Space 2 surgery sequence, isn't there?
Yep.
Makes sense. Now, I'm guessing there's something different in the Dead Space sequence, because most of this just involves pushing the buttons that are red.
Yeah, it was a little bit different. A lot of keeping
Yeah.
on target, managing your heart rate.
Surgery program 04.
So there's a little bit of that in this one.
It was your eye instead of your spine.
Also going to point out that a laser would cauterize those wounds.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Jesus.
It really depends on the duration and the intensity.
Magnetic resonance imaging.
Okay, this is a little brutal.
So this is the thing I didn't get. So there's going to be a screen that pops up to the side here that tells us what order we need to hit these nodes in. And it glitches out periodically.
Oh yeah, that's kind of cool.
And if you punch this sequence in out of order, the machine just rips John's spine out.
What? Why does it do that? Why does it do that, Matt?
It's supposed to grab the chip and pull it out, and instead it grabs the spine.
Yeah, well that's what the whole thing is. It's that whole huge thing.
Surgery complete.
Matt, why does it take the whole spine out?
Alive. Deceased. Alive. Surgery terminated. Alive.
And then we get a little bit of that Aliens vibe with the auto stapling thing.
I feel like with the drug cocktail, he should be in more or less pain than this, not exactly that amount.
Yeah.
Anyway, remember Samantha?
Oh, geez. She's gonna get in our spine.
You know, you think that, but it's a lot simpler.
Jump scare?
Nah, it's just gonna eat that thing.
Oh.
And by thing, I mean woman. That body.
Okay. So, what, we're unconscious? Unconscious here?
Yeah. Just hanging out inside the auto dock.
Can it change our hairstyle?
No.
Can you give us hair?
No.
Can it install cybernetics?
Maybe.
Rebecca. No.
I feel like there's supposed to be a second dream sequence here.
Rebecca.
Yeah.
Run.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the point of that was, except to create tension. It's like, oh, he could have eaten me.
John,
Yeah, that's just how the game ends. You just get eaten and die.
Taya, you don't get to complain about having a bad day anymore.
2 hours.
I'm going to lord this over you for hours.
Mostly. Fuck, my back is sore.
3 decks and you'll see your daughter. Focus on that.
3
You have
decks?
enough drugs running through you to keep going for
But
a
I want it
few hours.
now.
Drugs. I've never been a fan. But these are definitely the good ones.
So anyway, now we're back to the injured walking cycle.
Sick.
So also, there were questions here about how John can still move through here when you're carrying your PDTs in your inventory.
Why was
the
the surgery
developer-
necessary?
The developer said that's why it's important that he's using the quantum storage device, because the PDTs don't exist, I guess, when they're in there.
Huh.
Couldn't we have just like wrapped the lead?
This will become important. This will become important later because the PDTs are still in our inventory.
Oh,
Right.
it's
And we're gonna get past the stuff that recognizes them.
and then we're gonna take them back
Yeah.
out again. Because we couldn't store them in our spine or anything.
A biological quarantine has been initiated.
Thanks, Update Cube.
Level 2. Kitchen knife and snowflake are off limits.
So those are the other two projects. The only project with a weird name that we still have access to
Level
is
3.
Project Seed.
Hydroponics is off limits.
Seed. For a moment, I thought that they meant the actual knife in the kitchen is off limits.
No, the Project Kitchen Knife gets talked about a lot.
Yeah.
Oops, and now we're like stuck in some vines.
I thought there was a biological quarantine. Oh, this would be why, huh?
Perfect.
Where are you, John? Without the PDT, I can't track your
I'm not
shit.
convinced any amount of drugs could get you moving again after that
Almost left of
surgery.
hydroponics. Shaft's covered in growth. I'm not
I
going
think
anywhere.
it could.
You just get pumped full of nanite solution from the.
Yes, hydroponics has a certain
Med
survey
tech.
test.
If you have sophisticated enough tools, I think that with the right cocktail of just like standard painkillers, you'd be able to move. Although
I feel like auto
you would-
staplers don't convince me that they're sufficiently advanced.
Ridiculous. How did it grow this world in a few months?
I don't know. We seem to be in the year 20XX,
Yeah.
maybe even 2XXX.
Oh, who wants to read?
Okay. Finally, we have more room for the Lincesi Harvey strain, which I've been working on so hard. It's days like this that humanity truly proves why it crawled out of the ocean before any other. My section has been expanded. I have more staff, true, but they are drones and have little other function. Now we can expand the research potential of Project Kitchen Knife, and see what else the plants can yield. The oxygen production rate is quite unlike anything my initial projections could have predicted. Last year it became the worst kept secret on the Groom Lake. And all of the sudden, I had more interns than I could comfortably employ. Their only function is to stumble about the place and ask troublesome questions that I have little time to answer. If only our world was more like that of insects. I have plenty of workers and drones, but none of the unwavering loyalty. Bees work and work, the faith in their queen unquestioning and constant. That kind of loyalty is beyond price. These interns of mine have their uses, I suppose. We always need volunteers willing to get close to the queen.
Now, Gray is the guy who's trying to kill us, isn't he?
No, that's Milan.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, Gray's super dead.
Okay.
Am I surrounded by incompetence? One of those imbecilic interns got too close to the queen and she showed him her affection. Quite amusing, though not to him. This means that I must attend another accident debriefing with the board, though. Dr. Malin does love to test me. I see him up on the hearing bench and he grins at me in that supercilious look that he's perfected over the years. I suppose I have him to thank for my current position. It was his recommendation to the board that made them hire me in the first place. Still, I believe he has come to enjoy these little power plays. He does so like to keep me under his heel. That, my dear doctor, is only a temporary situation. Once this project is complete, the chess games that we play so often will no longer be our only battleground. Regarding the project, some of the bug eggs failed to hatch properly. I suspect this is why the queen was more aggressive than usual. There are more than enough drones to continue the collection work. The unique chemical properties are doing wonders for the plants, although I'm running short of interns prepared to work in close proximity to them since the last incident. The worker I appreciate the most is Akiza. I was astonished to discover that she's related to the legendary Dr. Tenshu of the eugenics wars. I did consider mentioning it to her, but I sense she is oddly ashamed to have him as her ancestor. If it wasn't for men like him, our profession would be a hollow shell of what it is now. Then again, if it wasn't for him, genetic research wouldn't have been put back by several generations, now would it? The ethical quandaries we face as men of science. The insects are restless. They rumble in their apiaries and are more aggressive than usual. My personal deduction is that the presence of the marine thugs aboard the ship are the cause. Armed guards all over the place. I stopped by one the other day and asked my reasons for going to hydroponics. Well, after explaining I was head of the damn project, I had the guard removed from the post and then the ship. This is insanity. How am I supposed to... I recall complaining about the inundation of interns. If only they were still here now. Both Ivan and Theodore disappeared from their rooms last night, and I've had to speak to security about their whereabouts. They were Keith's assistants, and now the production of the Queen's Royal Jelly has slowed exponentially. That's been a huge blow, but a rather extraordinary anomaly has appeared in our growth pods. A hitherto undiscovered strain of fungus. Its origin is something of a mystery to me. These fungal growths fascinate. At first I thought it was a common garden-variety mold, but after a substantial analysis performed by Akiza, it seems to harbor neuron activity. That's to say, it seems to exhibit rudimentary signs of intelligence. We've certainly created some unusual species on this deck, but the idea of a quasi-intelligent fungus growing and evolving its own volition is exciting and frankly frightening. I've asked Akiza and the remnants of a team to cultivate it, but exhibit caution in where it is spread.
So remember, this fungus ended up spreading to the entire ship.
Yeah.
Right.
The fungus
No
is right
caution.
next to us, watching us read.
I was asked by one of Dr. Malin's assistants if the fungal substance discovered growing in the bowels of the ship had anything to do with us. I lied, of course, but this is becoming alarming. Our experiments flourished at first. We may have lost more staff recently, but our experiments have been very fruitful indeed. Confidentially, the properties of the fungus is both extraordinary and terrifying. It has the remarkable ability to take control of the living subject's central nervous system and hypothalamus, as observed in the monkey we used for testing. The monkey shrieked and thrashed in rage for the first few days after it was exposed, and then became quiet, observant, and uncannily intelligent. It's certainly aggressive, but then again, what viruses aren't?
How could he not see where this was going at this point?
No, no, no. We have officially lost control of the deck. Eden now truly belongs to the beasts. We've seen strange things. I watched as the fungus took control of the deck as it spread through the staff, and much to my shame, I watched their deaths and examined their bodies. Nobody can cross the pods because the bugs are so aggressive that when Solomon went through a rad suit, they ripped it from his body and stung him to death. It took mere moments. Still, I live in the hope that the insects will remember me, their creator.
One of their own.
I do not wish to seem unprofessional or impolite, but I ask that you not press me on the subject of my ancestry any further. I was nearly refused entry to medical school on the basis of my family's background, and the torment I suffered at the hands of my school peers regarding my great-great-uncle was unbearable. I am fully aware of his actions, and I've seen countless photographs and documents of the consequences of his work. I took this position to change our world for the better, not to be reminded of the skeletons in my family's closet. I've enjoyed our working relationship thus far, Dr. Gray. I prefer my family history no longer be a topic of our conversations. Thank you for understanding, Akiza.
My family.
Dr. Gray, I enjoyed our meal yesterday. It was refreshing to hear a man so outspoken on this ship. I appreciate your candor, and I do agree that perhaps it's time the board was shaken up a little. Although this is merely an observation rather than an action plan, I think the top leadership needs some new blood. I'd second you if you decide to take on the challenge yourself. Your impeccable scientific pedigree more than qualifies you. By the way, did you know where they were keeping that new cargo? Seems rather like a waste of resources if they won't even tell us where it is. Regards, Dr. F-Way.
F-Way, he's too extreme.
Well, at least we know someone on this ship deserved to die.
Didn't we know that already?
Vaporizer, the perfected Mark V model of Kane Corporation Trans-State Modifier. Using advanced state molecularization technology, the vaporizer has the ability to shift a targeted substance between gas, liquid, solid states without any structural breakdown seen in objects shifted between states on a regular basis. The Mark V is the latest model, but hasn't been rolled into mass production because of current difficulty fuel using the vaporizer with resources aboard the Groom Lake. Recent experiments undertaken were more than satisfactory, and it passed the Kane safety and security test with no adverse effects causing harm to the user observed. It has been graded level 4 because of the specific nature of the technology and the limited quantity of the existing vaporizers. During an experiment recently carried out on the royal jelly produced by hydroponics, Dr. Gray and other observers commented at the remarkable speed at which the jelly was transformed into gas, thus placating the insect population.
The Mark I vaporizer was a George Foreman grill.
It drains the vapors directly into his mouth.
It takes the handy collection plates and puts the vapors in there.
So anyway, the chamber's broken, so we have to seal it somehow.
Lovely.
Anyway, you want to see the Queen?
I didn't want to see the Queen.
Oh,
You fucking kidding?
I agree with you, John.
It's some sort of insect.
Keep your distance.
So I'm going to say this...
Doesn't look like it can get loose.
Tied up. How big is it?
So I'm going to say this puzzle's bullshit.
You're kidding.
So, anyway, there's this hardened amber that's just in this tree for some reason.
And
we need some means to pierce it.
I need to pierce it? What? Smiley face.
oh.
Healthy, docile, responsive to stimuli, milking is normal. No activity, healthy, heightened aggression, recommended milking with only experienced staff. No activity, healthy, highly aggressive, 3 personnel wounded in milking. Healthy, quiet, unusual brooding behavior, milking normal. Healthy, aggressive, 1 fatality via venom pouches.
Hate venom pouches. Oh god, they've been doing this for 93 weeks?
Kevin, probably.
Sure. Oh, praise God Almighty, I couldn't be happier. Dr. Gray took me to one side and told me I was the only person who had the skill and the ability to take control of the nursery. He promoted me on the spot and said that I was now personally responsible for the Queen. The royal jelly she produces has proved to be incredibly useful. I discovered through my own analysis that not only is the jelly an essential nutrient for the insect population, but that it has other amazing physical properties too. It accelerates molecular bonding in certain substances, acting as a thickener for many natural substances while also regenerating their natural properties. With some engineering, I imagine I could turn this into a true medical breakthrough. I imagine doctors in hospitals and wards. The Queen's a temperamental little thing, a fiery lady to be sure. Ah, but Queenie, you forget, I grew up in a family with more than one fire-breathing dragon. If I can handle my mother, I can certainly handle you. Ha. Although when she's milked, she's rather docile. I dare say she's rather attached to me. I'm sure I heard her purring at me. That's the only way I can describe it. I'm aware that she's a bug and all, but it sounded rather like approval. My parents kept hives of bees, so I've never been squeamish over insects, and I can tell the difference between aggression and favor. I'm still the only person who can get close without being bitten, and her bite can leave one hell of a mark, let me tell you. Hodgson said he'll report his side effects upon his return from sick leave.
Lymphoma.
In other news, Dr. Myrick and one of Dr. Gray's subordinates has requested samples of the jelly for experiments with his tree resins. You think it might have a use as an industrial adhesive? I try so hard to be positive, to be the person whose enthusiasm never once flags nor fails, but when you start hearing rumors that appall you to your very core, I tried to shrug it off, but recently it's become harder to deny it. I've been hearing sounds from the elevator shafts, the sounds of a wailing infant crying out in pain before suddenly being silenced. That is no rumor. Sometimes I lay awake at night and I swear I can hear the crying of children. I can't be dreaming. I saw Ingracia to confess my fears. He gave me a prescription to help me sleep, but something in his eyes said that he knew I was hearing something real and worse. It was something he was hearing too. More rumors. Dr. Malin is using children in his research. I have to ignore it. If it were true, Kane would remove him immediately, surely. Even Dr. Gray appears to find it an uncomfortable subject. This is a man who slept easily when Isaac got his left cheek ripped off. Is Dr. Gray short of staff again? Once again, I'm being forced to manage multiple projects, only this time it's an examination of an acutely destructive new spore. First observation, it's a parasitic fungus that grows faster than a common weed, and like a common weed, I feel it should be destroyed. But I know Dr. Gray won't do it. He, like many of the other senior doctors, sees any new species as something to be exploited or weaponized. In the darkness, something stirs. I can't say what. I'm too afraid to find out what it is. When Ivan and Theo disappeared a month back, we assumed they'd somehow deserted. That was the official stance taken by Dr. Malin and the board, anyway. Last night's events proved that there is something on board with us, though God knows where it's from. The Queen was more rambunctious than I've seen her before, and milking her was certainly more challenging than I'm used to. Edmund was assisting. We've been short on staff, and some of our volunteers are simply refusing to show up for work. The Queen's environment has been disturbed a great deal, and so her violent tendencies are far more pronounced. Edmund was on his way out of hydroponics when it happened. Something, pulled him into one of the air ducts. I didn't see much. I saw him walking towards the decontamination chamber, and the next moment his legs were kicking the air as, whatever it was, dragged him up into the ceiling, where he squealed like a pig. I'm resigning tomorrow. I did not sign up for mad science. I came to Kane to serve humanity and clear my family's name, not watch my crewmates be slaughtered. If only I resigned when I said I would, and if only they hadn't ignored my demands to have the infernal fungus destroyed. It's growing over me now, over my skin. It's burrowing into my flesh. The insects attacked again today, and it seems to only worsen. Dr. Gray was destroyed by a swarm of them, and now he's only fertilizer for whatever ravenous mold he was so curious about. The uninfected are making an attempt to escape. This doesn't include me. The emergency flares keep the bugs away. I told them to give me the flare to hold the bugs so they can get away. I hope they escape soon. The fungus is making my head feel funny. I'm sure I can feel it growing through my ear canal.
Akiza, with the greatest respect, would you stop the ridiculous pranks your group insists in the fertilization chambers? I admit they're hardly dangerous, but they remain undignified. I certainly wouldn't want to be present when a K-inspector stumbles into young Theodore raising in front of the Queen, hands above his head while shouting, "I'm covered in bees!" It's unprofessional. Akiza, don't worry. I don't think you're losing your mind. Ghosts are a possibility, but I suspect what you're hearing are the sounds of devices playing in other parts of the ship. I do believe at the moment that the corporeal world and the spirit world are very much divided, so try to calm yourself. If you can talk to someone in cargo storage about these sounds, but I wouldn't worry about it. This island is full of noises, but pay them no mind. I'm quoting Shakespeare, not the Bible. Get some sleep, and maybe do fewer night shifts, Eleanor.
Whoops, Dr. F-Way is a lady. My voice earlier was inappropriate.
Nah, she probably talks like that. So anyway,
right, gotta
the
stab
crew
this
logs.
Amber.
So anyway, we got all the information we needed from the crew logs.
Okay.
So what we know, the Queen gets docile
And being
during
milked,
the milking sequence.
as evidenced by the little AR happy face.
Yes.
Huh.
So fun fact, that happy face was added in a patch, because if you watch early playthroughs of this game, it's not there.
Huh.
So, and then the other thing we learned, that tree resin is a strong adhesive.
Yes, we know that.
So now I'm going to save, because I have to do something that is not frame perfect, but it is very heavily timing based and is very easy to fuck up.
Okay.
Gotta interact during some wiggle of the animation.
Yes, and it's for a reason that makes no sense.
I'm waiting for the wiggle.
Yeah, what are we watching
Yeah, me
for?
too.
I'm leaning in, waiting for the wiggle.
So I gotta wait for her to do
wiggle.
the spores thing. And now and only now, I can grab one of her mandibles and tear it off.
What?
Huh.
If you attempt to do this at any other time, she will grab you and immediately eat you.
Good thing
So
she's so
docile.
docile.
So anyway, we need to use this mandible to stab that tree.
Yes.
Huh. The Queen Piercer.
Okay, wait a minute. So, our problem wasn't that we need the strength to pierce it, we needed something sharp
We needed
enough?
Yeah, I don't know. That's how you solve the puzzle.
Yes, that is the thing that does the thing. It could
And then
have
also
been
we
anything.
need this plaque. And I didn't read the thing, but it says gardening just another day at the plant.
Oh, I get it.
So anyway, we need to mix the tree sap with the plaque,
Metal plaque with
and then
sap.
we can slap that over the crack in the tube.
Oh no!
And we can use that to vaporize the royal jelly.
Why does the plaque bend now?
Also, the plaque's like twice the size it was when we picked it up.
Why is it cylindrical now?
It's a perspective thing.
I take it if you tried to activate the vaporizer, it either wouldn't work or it would melt you.
It just, yeah, when you activate the vaporizer without it, it just says chamber compromised.
Great.
So anyway, now we have some aerosolized royal jelly.
Sure.
This feels like a bad thing
Which-
to have.
Which we
No,
need
they
to get
love
through
it.
this next area that is absolutely swarming with bees.
The insects love it. They said so.
Okay.
And we need to use this in a way, this is another thing that doesn't quite make sense, because they say it keeps the insects, like, calm.
They love that shit.
Anyway, this is what happens when you just run out here.
Bee zone.
We become the bee man.
I'm covered in bees!
The pain, the pain, the pain, the pain.
The fear!
Pain!
Oh god.
Anyway, that's the death splash again.
You popped.
Good death splash.
So we'll see how to resolve this next time, Internet.
Next time we'll be
Until
less
then,
covered in
good
bees.
night.
The pain.
Try to be less covered in bees. Do not play with bees at home, children.
Bullet bee.
Tommy gun.
Yeah, a little bit of a problem with theming on that one.